Hello everyone. Welcome to today's story, where we follow Diep's emotional journey, facing a painful past, a life-changing decision, and the fear that she might lose the future she dreams of. Can she overcome her darkest fears and keep the child growing inside her? Or will the weight of her past be too much to bear? Stay with us until the end as we uncover what happens when Diep faces the hardest choice of her life. Will she find peace with her past or let it go for the sake of her future with James? Don't forget to subscribe and help us reach 10,000 followers so we can bring you more heartfelt stories like this one. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Diep slowly opened her eyes, her body feeling heavy, as though every inch of her was weighed down by exhaustion. The room around her felt distant, everything blurry and out of focus. She turned her head slightly and saw James sitting beside her, his face etched with concern. His hand gently held hers, and his voice broke the silence, soft but filled with urgency. "Diep, you're awake. It's okay. I'm here with you." She struggled to recall the events leading up to this moment, but the warmth of his hand and the comfort of his voice were undeniable. The doctor soon entered, explaining that while her fever had subsided, her condition remained fragile and the pregnancy was still at great risk. Diep felt a pang of fear deep inside her. She could hear the doctor's words, but they felt distant, as if someone else were speaking. The one thing she couldn't ignore, though, was the overwhelming worry that gripped her heart. Could she keep this baby? Would the past, with its shadows of pain and fear, steal her chance for a new future? The uncertainty of her situation made everything feel even more fragile. James, noticing her unease, squeezed her hand a little tighter. His presence was a quiet reassurance, a promise that he would stand by her side no matter what. But inside, Diep couldn't help but question. Could she find the strength to move forward and give her child the future it deserved? As the days passed, Diep's condition slowly improved, but her mind remained clouded. Despite the efforts of James to comfort her, to help her find peace, she was caught in an internal struggle. The past, with all its pain, refused to loosen its grip. She spent hours staring at the ceiling, her mind drifting to the dark corners of her memories. Memories of betrayal, loss, and sorrow. Each time she tried to focus on the present, the weight of her past would pull her back. James, however, was unwavering. He remained by her side, his actions gentle, his words always hopeful. "You need to focus on now, Diep," he would say, brushing a strand of hair away from her face. "The past can't change, but what we do today, this moment, is what shapes our future." He spoke of dreams, of a home they could build together, of children laughing in the garden, of a life free from the shadows that had once held her captive. His words, though filled with hope, felt distant to her at times. How could she trust in a future when the past seemed to haunt her at every turn? But the way he looked at her, the way he held her hand, reassuring and firm, slowly began to crack the walls she had built around herself. Diep knew that James was right. She couldn't live in the past forever. Yet the fear of what might happen to her baby, to the life she was trying to build, still lingered. Would her past be a shadow over her future? Or could she find the strength to overcome it and give her child a chance at something better? One quiet night, as the moonlight poured into the room, Diep sat by the window, her eyes lost in the distant darkness. The world outside felt still, but inside her, the storm raged on. Memories of her past, memories of betrayal, of dreams shattered, and of hopes that were never fulfilled, flooded her mind. She felt like she was trapped in a never-ending loop, unable to escape the weight of those memories. Each thought, each reflection, was like a silent scream, clawing at her heart. How could she move forward when her past was still so alive within her? James, sensing her inner turmoil, quietly approached and sat beside her. Without a word, he reached for her hand. "I know it's hard," he said, his voice a gentle whisper. "But you don't have to face this alone. We're in this together." Diep looked at him, her eyes filled with doubt and pain. "But how do I move on from this? How do I let go of everything that hurt me?" Her voice trembled, and for a moment she felt small and fragile. James squeezed her hand, his eyes filled with understanding. "You don't have to forget, Diep, but you can choose to let go. Let go of the things that no longer serve you, the things that hold you back. You have a future to live for now, and that future is with me, with our child." His words cut through the storm inside her, and for the first time in a long while, she felt a flicker of hope. Could she truly leave the past behind? Could she find peace in the present and embrace the future, no matter how uncertain it seemed? The night felt longer than usual as Diep sat in the stillness, contemplating James's words. In that silence, she knew the hardest part would be to let go of the past, to forgive herself for the pain she had endured, and to believe that a better life was possible. The question now lingered. Would she be able to move forward for herself, for James, and for the child growing inside her? The days that followed were filled with quiet moments and fleeting glances, the kind that spoke volumes without uttering a single word. James continued to be the steady anchor Diep desperately needed. He helped her with everything, from small tasks like preparing meals to comforting her through the nights when the fear of losing their child resurfaced. His unwavering presence began to slowly heal the cracks in her heart. One evening, as they sat together in the soft glow of the setting sun, James spoke, his voice firm yet gentle. "Diep, we're going to build something beautiful together. A home, a family. It's not just a dream, it's our reality. But you have to believe that too. You have to believe in us." Diep listened, the weight of his words settling in her chest. She wanted to believe him, wanted to trust in the future they could have. But the shadow of her past, the uncertainty of her health, and the fragility of her pregnancy still lingered, like an invisible barrier between them. "How can I, James? How can I be so sure when everything around me feels so uncertain?" James took her hand, his grip tender but firm. "I understand your fear. I know the past has hurt you, but it doesn't define you. It doesn't define us. We can't change what's happened, but we can choose to shape the future. And that future starts with us, you, me, and the little one you're carrying." His words, simple and filled with love, were a lifeline, a thread connecting her to something greater than her fears. Diep, in that moment, realized that perhaps, for the first time, she could let go of the past. Not forget it, but let it go, allowing herself the chance to live for what was yet to come. Her heart stirred with a new sense of hope. She was scared, yes, but she wasn't alone. And maybe, just maybe, the future they spoke of could be hers to embrace too. The next morning, the sun was bright, casting a soft glow over the small house that James had promised would one day be their home. Diep stood by the window, looking out at the landscape before her. An empty plot of land, quiet and still, just waiting for life to fill it. She couldn't help but think of the future James had painted for them. He spoke of children playing in the yard, of laughter filling the air, of the home they would build together. It all seemed so distant, so out of reach. Yet there was something in her heart that ached to believe in it. James approached her, standing by her side, his eyes following her gaze. "This will be our place," he said quietly, his hand brushing against hers. "A place where we can build everything we've dreamed of." Diep's heart fluttered, but doubt lingered in the back of her mind. Could she truly leave behind the remnants of her past, the shadows that still haunted her, and embrace this new beginning? Could she open herself to a future filled with love and happiness, knowing that so many of her fears still hadn't been faced? "I want to, James," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "I want to believe in this, in us. But I don't know if I can. My past, my pain, they follow me everywhere. I feel like I'm trapped between what I want and what I'm afraid of." James took her hand in his, pulling her gently toward him. "The past doesn't control us, Diep, not anymore. We're building something together now. You don't have to carry all that weight alone. I'm here, and we'll face everything together." His words were steady, unwavering, and for the first time, Diep felt a warmth in her chest, a small flicker of courage. She closed her eyes, letting the gentle breeze wash over her. In that moment, she realized something. The only way forward was to trust. Trust in herself. Trust in James. Trust in the future they could create together. The past had shaped her, but it didn't define her. And now, the most important choice she could make was to step forward into the unknown with hope, with James, and with their child. The days that followed felt like a slow unfolding, each moment offering a new chance for Diep to embrace the present. She began to feel the weight of the past slowly lift, like a fog slowly dissipating as the sun rose higher in the sky. The memories still haunted her, yes, but they no longer held the same power over her. With James by her side, Diep started to believe that she could truly begin again. One afternoon, as they walked through the plot of land that would one day be their home, Diep felt a lightness in her step. The air was fresh, and the sound of birds singing filled the space around them. She looked at James, his face full of determination, his hand gently holding hers. He had been patient with her, never pushing, never rushing her. He had simply been there, steady and constant. "I think this is it," Diep said softly, her voice filled with a quiet realization. "I think I can finally let go. Let go of all the things that hurt me." James stopped and turned to face her, his eyes soft with understanding. "I'm proud of you, Diep. I know it hasn't been easy, but I knew you could do it. You're stronger than you realize." Diep smiled, feeling the tears well up in her eyes, but they were not tears of sorrow. They were tears of relief, of release. She had carried the weight of her past for so long, and now she was free. The pain that once defined her no longer held power over her. For the first time in what felt like forever, Diep felt like she could breathe deeply. She could finally look forward to the life that awaited her, the life she would build with James and their child. The past would always be a part of her, but it no longer had to control her. She was ready to move on, ready to create the future that was waiting for her. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows across the land where their future would take shape. Diep stood beside James, the quiet hum of nature around them. The land, still untouched, felt like a blank canvas, waiting for them to paint their story on it. There were no more fears weighing her down, no more doubts clouding her mind. It was as if the decision to let go of the past had unlocked something inside her, something powerful and freeing. "Look at what we have ahead of us," James said, his voice steady, filled with hope. "This is ours to build, our family, our life." Diep turned to him, her heart swelling with gratitude. She had never felt so certain of anything in her life. For so long, she'd been afraid of the future, afraid of what it might bring. But now, she felt ready to embrace the unknown, to build something with James and their child, ready to give them a life full of love without the shadows of the past hanging over them. "I'm ready, James," she whispered, her voice full of quiet resolve. "I'm ready to build a life with you, to create a future for us, for our family." James smiled softly, his eyes gleaming with pride and love. "We'll make it happen, Diep, together." In that moment, Diep realized that the greatest gift she could give to herself, to James, and to their child was the promise to move forward, to stop looking back and instead look to the future they would create. The past was gone, and though it had shaped her, it no longer defined her. The future was theirs to write, one day at a time. With James by her side, Diep knew they could face anything. They had each other, they had their love, and together they would create a new life, one filled with joy, hope, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow.
Diep, một cơn bệnh nặng tỉnh lại trong sự chăm sóc của James. Cô đối mặt với sợ hãi về sức khỏe và khả năng giữ được đứa con trong bụng, và cùng lúc đó cô phải vật lộn với quá khứ đầy đau buồn, mất mát. James luôn ở bên động viên cô sống cho hiện tại và tương lai và không để quá khứ chi phối. Dần dần Diep nhận ra rằng có thể buông bỏ và vết thương cũ bắt đầu lành lại. Cùng với James, cô quyết định xây dựng cuộc sống cho tương lai mới, hướng về gia đình, về những đứa trẻ thông minh, khỏe mạnh. Câu chuyện hành trình của Diep trong việc vượt qua nỗi sợ hãi và tìm kiếm niềm tin trong tương lai.